This presentation is going to go over what I like to call a zero-word presentation. Now, tell me if you've ever been in this situation. You've assigned some sort of research project where students are going to present their findings somehow, or put something together and somehow put together a presentation where they demonstrate their learning, right? And you have a student come up, loads his presentation, and what you notice is that it is a very text-heavy presentation. And then they turn around and they read their presentation, and they kind of don't even read it very well, right? The whole reason I assigned a presentation so I don't have to go and just read something they probably, could have copied from someplace. I don't know. And just the fact of reading off of a slide is a real pet peeve of mine, right? Even in staff meetings, you know what I'm talking about, right? Well, here's a good way to prevent this. So I started having my students do zero-word presentations. So what that means is that on their presentation, they can't have words. They have to have images to represent the information. So what this forces them to do is still learn the information or take in the information, but then digest it and process it and think about how they could best represent that logically through only images, right? So there's a little bit more higher order thinking involved in doing that, because they have to interpret their own words. Hopefully it's their own words, and they have to interpret that into an image that corresponds. So great way to introduce this is at the beginning of the year to do a get to know you activity. So the one that I like to do looks a little bit something like this. It's I introduce myself to the students, and then we're using a single slide with just images, and then I have them do the exact same thing. So for example, rather than saying I have a wife and 2 kids, I have a picture of my wife and 2 kids. Rather than saying I'm an English teacher at Highland High School, I have a picture of my students and myself at Highland High School. Or my favorite food in the world are pupusas. Well, I have an image of that, right? I also have them throw in like a favorite picture. Mine happens to be me and Luke Skywalker there, right? So then this gives them a cool, easy way to start this. And then when we're doing this with content, I can refer back to that introductory activity that I had them do. Right. So how is this AI resistant, you might ask, right? Well, for starters, it involves creative tasks, right? So they have to create an image or find an image that best represents what they're trying to communicate. They have to put it in specific orders, maybe use animations to help them further explain whatever point they're trying to make, right? Secondly, it is like I said, very specific, right? Often you can't just find an image. You have to be very purposeful, right? It's not just random images. It's purposeful image selection, or maybe even creation in order to communicate something. And they literally have to show their work. They have to justify the process and why they chose specific images to represent the words. So speaking of generating and maybe even incorporating some artificial intelligence into this, both Canva and Google Slides and most presentation tools, Adobe Express also have AI image generators built in. So if students can't really find the right image on the internet, or they don't have the image, they could practice describing it and doing multiple iterations of that prompt that they create to get that image, right? So that's a useful skill to have, I think, is prompt writing, right? And then furthermore, if you really want to, take it up another level, or if maybe students are just not ready to present in front of the class yet, you can have them record it. Both Google Slides and Canva have these really nifty record yourself buttons for presentations. And this can be helpful down the line for other things. And the next video in this series will show you a very specific way to use that feature in Adobe Express. So stay tuned for that. All right. As always, if you have any questions, here's how to get a hold of me. Thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments if you're using this and how it's working out for you. Thanks.